In the year 2013, U.S. President Adam Benford has decided to officially reveal the truth behind the 1998 Raccoon City destruction incident, believing that it will curb the current resurgence in bioterrorist activity. Due to be by the president's side is his personal friend and Raccoon City survivor Leon Kennedy and his new partner Helena Harper, but when the venue becomes host to another bioterrorist attack, Leon is forced to face the infected and mutated president, making the hardest decision in his life. Meanwhile, in the Eastern European state of Edonia, mercenary Jake Mueller, the son of bioterrorist Albert Wesker, flees from the authorities during a bioterrorist attack. During Jake's adventure, he partners with government agent and Raccoon City survivor Sherry Birkin. At the same time, BSA Captain Chris Redfield and his team, including BSA member Piers Nivens, arrive at the fictional Chinese city of Lanxiang, based on Hong Kong, itself under threat of bioterrorist attack. With no country safe from these attacks and the ensuing outbreaks, the entire world's population is united by a common fear. There may be no hope left. That's the basic plot behind Resident Evil 6. Well, after glancing at its Wikipedia page anyway. Gotta tell you, I just can't wait for that game to come out. I mean, fans have been waiting for Sherry to make a return, and they've been waiting for Leon and Chris to actually be in the same game together outside of Mercenaries. Now the fandom's rejoicing. And from the trailers that I saw, we're finally getting zombies again, not the voodoo-type zombies with parasites bursting out of their heads when you pop them, but the actual, I'm going to bite off your face zombies. How long has it been since we last saw that? Let me see here. These two games, maybe? Okay, granted, it's on the Wii, but they're the GameCube. But they're ports of the GameCube games, but you get the idea! I know, the game was announced, last year or something like that. The first trailer came out, but really? You know what else Resident Evil related is coming out? The 5th movie. That's right, 5 movies. But that's something else entirely. The release date's supposed to be October 2012, and Wikipedia has it listed as dramatic horror. No, it's survival horror, but I guess, same thing, maybe, I guess, whatever, zombies trying to eat people. For PS3, 360, and computer. Huh. I know I really don't seem like it, but I really am excited for this game. I just can't stress that enough. And I know a lot of people are excited as well. Resident Evil 5 was definitely much more action-packed than even Resident Evil 4. And at least in Resident Evil 5, you had a competent secondary character in Sheva. Ashley? Miss Fanservice is all she was. It's like the game's finally getting back to its roots, And it's like, in the first game, it's just situated in the mansion. The second game, we actually go out to the city, which is where the third game takes place as well. Let's try to pretend Survivor doesn't exist. Resident Evil 4 was just, situated in some small village in Spain. Or Portugal or wherever. They were speaking Spanish, okay? It was somewhere in Spanish Europe. Who cares? Resident Evil 5 was in Africa, and that's the one everyone was bitching about. Oh, it's racist! It's racist! Racist or not, you can't deny, when you're being chased by voodoo zombies, your first reaction is probably going to be to shoot them. No, that'd be my first reaction. And finally, it's like, the world's finally going to shit. How long have we waited for this? For all, I know, it's like I'm saying this might be the end of Resident Evil, but then again, for all I know, this could be the big climax that Capcom's been trying to get to since 16 years ago, 1996, when the original game was released for the PlayStation. I was only 5 years old then. God, I feel old. I'm only 21 and I feel old. What the fuck? Oh, for those of you who want an early peek outside of trailers, a playable demo of Resident Evil 6 is currently scheduled for release on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Marketplace on September 5th, 2012. Huh. I don't have PlayStation Network because, number one, I don't want to pay for it, and my PlayStation's not hooked up to the internet. I am a sad, sad person. Actually, no, I'm not, because the demo will just spoil it for me. I don't want anything spoiled. People are like, but you know what's going to happen. That's the problem. I'll know what's going to happen. If I decided this a long time ago, and the same thing holds true for Kingdom Hearts 3D for 3DS. When it comes out, first chance I get, I'm getting it. I'm not going to watch any Let's Plays. I'm not going to watch any footage of it on YouTube, any leaked footage or anything. I'm going to go out, I'm going to get the game, and I'm going to legitimately play it for myself. And see how it all happens. See how everything works out. Let me just think about this. Just think about this for a minute, folks. This is Resident Evil 6, right? But even with all the spin-offs and all the stories that aren't even considered canon, let's just take a quick look at all the games, shall we? Let's just list the games. Let's see here. There was Resident Evil. That's counting the remake. Resident Evil 2. Nemesis. Code Veronica and Code Veronica X. 0. 4. 5. Revelations. 6. That's 10 already. Survivor. Dead Aim. Outbreak. Outbreak 2. Umbrella Chronicles. Darkside Chronicles. Gaiden, from Game Boy Color, Mercenaries 3D, Operation Raccoon City, $19 games in 16 years. Capcom, that's a record. How many Mega Man games did they make since when was Mega Man released? Who cares? It's not important right now. What's important is 19 games in 16 years. Christ, I remember one was 2006, and they were rejoicing for the 10th anniversary. Here we are, 2012, 6 years later, and we're approaching the 20th anniversary. Wow. It's hard to imagine that a series like Resident Evil could last almost 20 years. Let's, like, Mario's been going on since 1980. When was Donkey Kong released? 1983? Well, let's just go off of Super Mario Bros. In 1985. 2012. How long is that? 27 years. Someone's been going around for 21 years now. You can understand, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, they're still relatively young. I mean, Crash came out in 96. Crash is actually as old as Resident Evil. Spyro came out 2 years later. Everyone seems to have completely forgotten about Pac-Man and Alone in the Dark, which, if I know this is about Resident Evil, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but if Alone in the Dark just kept with the H.P. Lovecraft inspired whatever, it just stayed, Lovecraftian, the series would still be running strong. And that movie probably wouldn't have sucked. And it probably wouldn't have sucked if football wasn't attached to it. But back to Resident Evil 6. Shit's finally hitting the fan. I mean, okay. Now, I'll admit, political affiliation, Republican. But I could care less about any politicians because there's the Linkin Park song "No More Sorrow," which really describes them. Thieves and hypocrites who trade freedom for fear, who replace freedom with fear and trade money for lives. That describes a politician. Hell, even a politician doesn't deserve to be turned into a zombie. I'm sure everybody wants to go race for a politician to die. But not being turned into a zombie, that would suck. Think about it. You're dead. You're wandering around aimlessly. You basically have no mind. Everything up there is jello. The only thing on your mind is to tear off the face of the person next to you. That's it. Speaking of that, for the longest time, someone actually asked me this question once. How does a zombie go to the bathroom? Well, if you read a little book called The Zombie Survival Guide by a guy named Max Brooks, son of Mel Brooks, who directed Spaceballs, said, yeah, zombies just eat until their guts get full and then they explode. I don't want zombie guts all over me from that. But maybe this is what the zombie apocalypse would be. You know, it begins in Washington, then spreads all over the place. At least with Raccoon City, it was kind of contained, you know. It's just one city. Okay, so how are we supposed to have to drop a nuke on the city? Okay. And then you got Survivor, which is based on an island. It's just an island. It's going to blow up. It's just an island. They end up blowing up. Nobody cares. It's an island. Besides, like I said earlier, people don't even consider Survivor canon anymore, even though it was mentioned in the prologue of Resident Evil 0. I am not kidding. But now, I know I'm saying this, I know I've said this a lot throughout this video, I know it sounds totally redundant, but it's going down, son. Shit's hitting the fan. So, everybody, grab whatever you can use as a weapon because it's coming. It's coming. The zombie apocalypse is coming. So clean those rifles, sharpen them swords if you have them, or whatever bladed weapon you're going to use. And save your money because Resident Evil 6 is going to cost a pretty penny. I don't know, maybe like $60. Can't wait. Can't wait. As a fan of Resident Evil since I was about 7 years old, this, I guess, would be considered the pinnacle of what we've been waiting for, what we wanted. I guess that's the phrase. Comes out in October. It's about 3 months from now. Hopefully, I'll maybe have a car or something. Or at least my driver's license anyway. And then, like, if I need to see if I can borrow the parents' vehicle, go to the nearest mall and pick it up. Hopefully by then my PS3 will decide to work. But that's for another time. Anyway, I gotta go. I've ran it long enough. Later.